Hello, everyone. I hope you hear me well. Welcome to another iteration of Daytona Office Hours. I'm Ivan. I'm going to be standing in for Toma today. And I'm just going to go through all the changes we've made to the repo since last week and tell you what we are working on right now and what are the plans for the future. Let's start with the releases. We made a release 5 days ago, and there's a couple of features, a couple of fixes. So we, as you can see, have a couple contributors working with us for quite some time already. Tarun is one of the oldest. He fixed some ID opening message error. And Abhishek added, sorry if I'm butchering the names, by the way. Abhishek added validation for duplicate repo entries. That looks really cool. And Toma, who I'm standing in for today, added some dev container customization. He applied the customization to relevant IDEs so that whenever you set up your dev container extensions and customizations on the user level, you're going to have them ready to go when you open an ID using Daytona. So regarding the fixes, we can see Abhishek also fixed some leftover data or residue in the TUI. I can open this up quickly. I believe there is a screenshot here. Right, so the last page of the pagination used to have some residue of existing workspaces and projects, and Abhishek made sure to get rid of those, as well as fixing some of the filtering the display issues. So these work well now, so thank you, Abhishek, for that. Toma added some fixes for the repo context during cloning. There was an issue regarding cloning a non-default branch. So if you wouldn't clone a main branch, there was the checkout process wasn't complete correctly. I had a fix that removed post-start commands. We basically realized this is not the way to go and would introduce more bugs than delight to the user, so we got rid of those. And next up, another fix by Toma regarding workspace creation timeout. This was, I believe, in regard to slower connections or bad networks, where the creation really could take more than 3 minutes. So that cap was removed, and it was placed in artificial anyway. There's a couple chores. Sven, it, or however you pronounce it, sorry again. He made a first contribution. He has also been opening a lot of useful issues, so I thank him for that. His contribution was to implement OSX-specific documentation link, aka the installation of VS Code to the path using Mac OS. So thanks for that. This makes it easier for users and requires less reading for them. There was another refactor regarding SSH client. This was necessary because of the provider refactor we did earlier. Please, for every one of these releases, check out the breaking changes and make sure you complete them before submitting any issues so that we know what to look at. Right now, a couple hours ago, we launched a bounty program, or whatever you want to call it. Around 40 bounties were created on our issue list. So there's a lot of open PRs, more than usual right now. We can see there are people already jumping in. So we are going to just check out a couple of those. So for example, we can see Tarun, he is back. He's adding the server command to the start screen. If you use Daytona, you remember this screen. When you run just Daytona, the command on the CLI. And he added the Daytona server, which is very useful, thank you. And we are going to review this as soon as we can. Next up, for example, Abhishek removed an unnecessary continue in the install script. This was regarding to some erroring that would happen for no reason. So right now there's more info to the user. That is nice. And what else can we go through? I can see RS Lab Hub. He was also our contributor for a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. He's adding some debug logs, so everything should be working smoothly. My PR is currently in the draft. This is quite a large PR, and it's in regard to adding a Daytona project configuration subcommand. As you can see here, it is going to allow you to configure your project before creating it, for example, and then you will be ready to start coding right away. You will define your project configuration in terms of the repository, the build options, the environment variables. You will save them, and as you can see in this screenshot, you will be able to pick it if you want when creating a new workspace. And if you select make a blank project, that's also an option to use whatever was already available before. This is drafted until further alignment and testing. We are still deciding on the naming. There's an issue for that. So component naming is something we value very highly, and we want to make sure that the user experience is seamless and there's no confusion over what does what, basically. And also why this PR is in testing mode is because there was some refactoring related to packaging, and then the UX changes, improvements also reflected some other parts of the code base that are not directly related to the project config feature. And this entire feature is more into the goal of implementing pre-built environments that are the main goal of saving the user's time, because you will be able to pre-build whatever project you are working on and have it ready right away, even if there's been changes in before. If you haven't fetched from the main branch or whatever, haven't rebased, you're going to be ready to start coding right away. So I believe that's it from the PRs. There are PRs opening every couple of minutes now. I'm going to explain why. There's also a build spoiler. Thank you, Luca, for this. He is one of our newest maintainers. And this is in regards to making sure the builds are running smoothly, and whenever a build is created, it gets its own time to start executing, and this build puller makes sure that it is going the way it's supposed to. So let's get down to the issues. One thing I want to note most importantly in this meeting is that we launched a bounty program a couple hours ago, and there's around 40, I believe, bounties ready right now. Let me double check. So 45 bounties. So the idea is that we incentivize you with some bounty amount, maybe 20, 50, maybe even $200, to start using Daytona and making your first PR to help develop Daytona, as well as get yourself acquainted to the software. And we hope that you will all check this out. They have quite a wide range in terms of complexity. So let's check one of them. Perhaps the property is missing from the server config. So this one simply says that there are some visual cues missing from the server config, such as the FRPC port or the protocol. So the issue is regarding to adding those to the view, and it shouldn't be too expensive. The bounty is $20, so if you're interested, get right to it. Another one I would like to I'm going to mention this one. This is in regards to reading Daytona log straight from the file. This is going to resolve some issues regarding the API not working properly. If the server is not running, you couldn't get the logs properly. So this is another one of the bounties. Nobody claimed them yet, so check them out. Since last week specifically, there's been maybe 10 or 15 issues added, and you can check them one by one. These older ones also have bounties on them. As you can see right here, there's the positive ID, cursor ID. If you've heard of those, please give us a hand in contributing. There are some TUI bugs also, which we would really appreciate some help. This one specifically was submitted by Nico. He realized that there are some edge cases in which the TOI will break, and we want to make sure the users can use this smoothly. So please check it out. And by the way, if you have any questions regarding any of the issues, you can ask me right now, which is fine, or you can talk to me later on the community Slack, and we'll be happy to help you out. Let's see if there are any more issues worthy of mentioning. So this one is on. There is a notification regarding this one. Obviously, someone attempted this. So there's, I think, 30 or 35 people still. I mean, bounties that are still not attempted by anyone. So now's your time to shine, basically. So let me see if there are any questions in the chat. Yes, as Nicola said, of course, we'll be happy if you could, while you're using Daytona, realize some feature request you have or you encounter a bug to report it to us. And we'll make sure to check it out. And perhaps if the feature request was good enough, you could implement it yourself, or a bounty will decide later. And here, as you can see, pull requests are still coming in. So get to checking out the bounties, checking out the issues, and helping us out. So let me know if you have any questions once again. If you don't, I'm going to let you get to coding. Once again, you can contact us in the community Slack. We'll be happy to help. And check out Daytona in general and check out the issues. So thank you for listening. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm stopping the recording.